Well, there's no two ways about it. Inflation has affected everyone, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. However, new numbers coming out tomorrow could show some relief. But what does that actually mean for the average American? Breaking that down for us this morning is Scripps correspondent Joe St. George, live from Washington, D.C. And Joe, we're expected to see a nearly 5% drop with inflation numbers by tomorrow. But what exactly does that mean?
Well, first off, I remember talking with you a year ago, and we were talking about inflation year over year being over 9 percentage points. We were feeling it at the grocery store. We were feeling it when we were the whole country was feeling it. But what has happened is a dramatic decrease in the last several months. There's a variety of factors that you could attribute it to. Some say interest rates and the fact the Fed's hiked them so much in recent memory that is reason number one. But last month, inflation was around 4%. So significantly lower than that 9% number, Matt, that we talked about last year. The forecast for tomorrow's consumer price index, which will get released just about this time, keep your phones handy, 24 hours from now, 3.1% is the forecast. Sometimes economists are off and it can vary, but oftentimes they're pretty close to the actual number. 3.1% significantly lower than 9% from where we were talking about inflation a year ago, but 3% is nowhere near where the Federal Reserve wants inflation. It's certainly close. It's much closer than 9%. They want inflation to be 2%. And because it's not at 2% yet, there's certainly a desire and a likelihood that the Federal Reserve could increase interest rates yet again later this month. As you know, Matt, when interest rates go up, the economic theory is that inflation goes down, but it also makes debt more costly, right? Mortgages are more expensive. Debt becomes more expensive. Credit cards can impact your family. Auto loans. All of that is the side effects of raising interest rates. So we'll keep an eye on the CPI report out tomorrow, Matt, as well as the Federal Reserve. They could announce another interest rate hike later this month.
Oh, boy. Now, with all that being said, though, many of us are thinking about how much extra we're now paying, of course, during our average trip to the grocery store, going out to dinner. That's basically something you need a savings account for now, it seems. But you think we're ever expected to see the average prices of everyday things drop back down to those levels we were within just the last few years? Or should Americans just get used to what we're seeing now and hope prices really don't rise that much more?
Well, remember, the Federal Reserve, they live in the real world. They know it's very unlikely that a business is going to revert to prices that they were offering 5 years ago. The goal is to have a prices just increase at a lower level, at a more reasonable level, so you're not feeling it as much. A 9% inflation, people were feeling that on a $100 bill at the grocery store. That's $9. That's certainly felt by Americans. So 2% is always the goal of the Federal Reserve. And while we're on the topic of the economy, Matt, a lot of people are keeping an eye on what's going to happen later this fall. That's when millions of Americans will resume federal student loan payments for the first time since 2020. For some Americans, that's $200, $300, $400, $500 that maybe they've been spending elsewhere each and every month that they now have to devote back to that federal student loan bill. How will that impact the economy is a big question as we march toward fall later this year.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, with the latest on inflation and how it's really affected everyone, this is Joe St. George live from Washington. Joe, as always, thanks so much.